Hi children, it's time for a story and we're going through this one today, the making of Milton. And this week we're thinking a little bit more about our feelings and how to talk about our feelings. And this is a really nice story because it talks about feeling a little bit worried, a little bit scared and how to overcome that, which is what happens to Milton in the story. So hopefully this you can take away something from this today and think about if there's ever been a time that you've been scared and how you overcame. Let's have a look. Let me tell you about Milton before he got so scared. He used to be adventurous, but now he never dared. Oh, Milton, he's such a brave boy. He's a brave young boy, is what they used to say. Why, he goes on adventures almost every single day. He climbs up the tallest trees, then swings down on a rope. He rides his bike up long, steep hills, then races down the slope. As he got older, he had somehow lost his way. He found a new thing scared him when he went out every day. He wouldn't play football games. He'd always stand aside. He feared he'd fall and hurt himself, and so he never tried. He stayed out of the garden, and instead he played indoors. He worried that the neighbour's dog would get him with his paws. He never slept in darkness. He made sure he used a light. He imagined he saw monsters hiding every single night. He never rode his bike because he thought it went too fast. He pictured himself tumbling as everything rushed past. On one fine sunny morning, Milton headed on his way and came across a strange old man whose beard was long and grey. He wore a cloak with patches and a hat upon his head. He placed a jar in Milton's hands, and this is what he said. "Inside you'll find your courage. I know how you've missed it so. With this you will feel brave again. Now I must up and go." With that the old man vanished and left Milton standing there. He held the jar of courage and he couldn't help but stare. Do you know what that word courage means? Have you heard that word before? Having courage is feeling brave. So I wonder if he's going to do anything with the jar. Let's have a look. He set off back towards his home and wandered around the back. But sitting in the garden was the neighbour's dog, old Jack. He looked down at the jar he held and felt his courage grow. He slowly walked towards old Jack and felt his worries go. Old Jack rolled over on his back and Milton rubbed his belly. It turned out this dog wasn't scary, just a little smelly. Milton said goodbye to Jack and knew just what to do. He grabbed his bike and helmet, hopped on quick, and off he flew. He paddled up the steepest hill. He pushed with all his might. And when he reached the top, he thought, "This isn't such a fright. I don't know why I was so scared. This seems like such a breeze." With that, he pushed hard off the ground and flew downhill with ease. As Milton headed straight back home, he cycled past the park. His friends were playing football, and he felt an idea spark. He asked if he could join them, and they handed him the ball. He played with them all afternoon and several times did fall. But he found it didn't matter. He enjoyed it all the same. He had a blast with all his friends, and they were glad he came. He couldn't understand why he was feeling brave once more. Then he thought about the jar as he sat down upon the floor. He took his backpack off his back and opened it with care. He reached inside to find the jar. But there was only air. The jar had disappeared, and the thought filled him with dread. "I cannot do without that jar. It keeps me safe," he said. He quickly turned his bike around. He knew just where to go. He raced to where the old man was. He didn't dare slow. The old man stood upon the spot from earlier that day. His hat still perched upon his head. His beard was long and grey. "My jar has vanished," Milton cried. "Whatever will I do? It helped me to feel brave again. It made me feel brand new. Without it, I'm not brave, and I never will be again." His tears fell down upon his shirt and soon left quite a stain. The old man turned to Milton and he said, "That isn't true. The jar was never special. There's still courage inside you. You didn't need to use the jar. Your heart was always strong. Your courage never went, you see. You had it all along." Again, the old man disappeared, no sign of him around. So Milton sat and wondered, has my courage now been found? He faced up to the neighbour's dog. He'd cycled down a hill, yet none of this had scared him. Now it just gave him a thrill. He thought about the future, and he saw how it could be. Now that I have my courage back, there's nothing to stop me. The sun began to fade as Milton walked through his front door. He was tired from his adventuring, but still wanted more. He couldn't have felt better after being scared so long. His courage wasn't really gone. The old man was wrong. The old man wasn't wrong, sorry. He climbed into his bed and then turned out the bedroom light. He didn't even think about it being off all night. So if you're scared or fearful, then remember you're brave too. Just like Milton, you can find it. Your courage is in you. And that's the end. So I think there's a lesson from that, children. Milton thought he got his courage from the jar, but actually it was inside him all the time. And sometimes we just have to think, I'm going to be brave, I'm going to try this. And sometimes, especially if we're trying something new, we can feel scared and we can feel worried because we don't know if we're going to like it. But most of the time, if we try something new, it becomes like a new adventure. It becomes something new that we absolutely love. So it's always great to try something new. And sometimes if we try something new and we don't like it, doesn't matter. We don't have to do it again, but we've tried it once. So that's the most important thing. So hopefully you've learned something from that story and how to be brave. But I know that you're always so brave and you're always amazing me with all the amazing things that you're doing and all the new things that you've tried so far this year. So keep it up. And I hope you enjoyed that story. Bye.